there. How are y'all doing? I remembered to put my microphone on this time, so it's going to sound better. I'm sorry about last week. When I was doing the videos, I'm like, there's a lot to set up when I start filming. So, and I've been real hectic and real busy, but things are starting to slow down now. So I'm glad about that. All right, we are on block 7. So we're on that last, like those last 3, right? We're just about getting ready. So I've got my blocks all ready and we're going to be sewing this. And I know that these videos are kind of, it's almost like redundant because we're doing the same thing over and over again. But what I hope that it does is if you start to get a little like frustrated, I don't want to finish, I'm hoping these videos give you kind of a renewed vigor in getting it done because I'm so excited. I know what this quilt looks like. It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. And we are almost done with the blocks. So same thing, but we're just, you know, we got to keep going with it. All right. Are you ready? We're going to get block 7 done today. And so close. Only 2 more. Kind of makes me want to push through, but we need to take it easy and just go with the weeks and do how they do. We will be done by the end of September for sure, because this is still the last week in August, the last weekend in August. I think today's the last day. I'm filming this on August 31st, but y'all probably won't see it till September 2nd. That's okay. Sorry about that. I do have to pre-record a little bit, but I'm not like weeks and weeks in advance. So then 4 weeks, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then we're putting it all together the last week. So that will be a much longer video because we are going to put it all together in one go. It's just sashing and borders. So I don't think that it's anything that we, you know, it's not like a Jaybird quilt where we've got the background 5, 6 different types of blocks and things like that. So we'll do that all in one go. And then you get the entire month of October to finish your top only. I don't make you quilt your items. I know that's a little bit of a stretch if you don't know how to quilt or that's not possible for you. I know it can be quite expensive to get someone else to quilt it. So I don't require quilting. I just require the top being finished, and that includes the borders. And then we'll have a little special prize for y'all. All right, let's get started. And I think there's a check-in, not this coming week, but the next week we'll do a live check-in and see how y'all are doing. All right, let's get started. Okay, I gotta turn my iron on. I didn't have that ready, so by the time I get through with all of that, that should be nice and hot. Okay, so we've got our fabrics here, and like I said last time, if you actually listened to the really rough video, I have got my new leader that I'm going to use because that other one had gotten really, really rough. Okay, so I always start with the faux flying geese. So we're going to do that. Those are for the second part. We need a couple of these. I'm just going to get a couple of these out. That's for the second part. I'm going to put those way up there. And then we need all 4 of these. These are for the second part. This is for the second part, and we need all 4 of these because of course I do the top and bottom before I do the center. Okay, that's just my preference, and that's the way the pattern is laid out as well. It starts with the top and bottom. Okay, so getting started just with those flying geese. And again, my cleaners have come and my foot is way far away. All right, here we go. And we just put these, you know, together. And we're not gonna use all of them, but I'm gonna go ahead and do all of them because why not, right? They look the same in the center part, but I'm only going to use what, 2 sets? yeah, 2 sets of them for the top and bottom. All right. And you know I love chain piecing, chain piecing. Okay. There we go. And as always, you should have your snips close up. I like actually these are not my favorite. I love LDH, but I like the larger ones. It's a little bit easier on my hands. That's okay. And as always, I am going to go ahead and press these since I have that ability. I'll move it over here a little bit so you're not seeing so much of me as what I'm doing. And you still can't see it. Maybe I need to bring this down just a bit. Let me work on that just a second. Bring it down just slightly. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. So I'm just pressing, for this, I press the seams open. Have my particular ways, you do you, but on flying geese, that's centered, it just seems to look better with an open seam to me. And am I opening them the perfect way? No, I don't believe in a perfect way. I am one of those. You do you. You do the way you need to do it. And that is that. Oop, I don't like the way that seam laid out. I got a little wonky seam going here. I want that to lay flat. All right. Those are good to go. Now we're still working on these. Got my coffee. It's kind of early in the morning. Not early in the morning. Early for me. I'm not a early morning person. So 9:30 does not seem early to me. It's actually before 9:30. All right, so when you're doing these, using these in particular, it's really difficult to tell which way is which, so make sure before you sew it. And on these, we're sewing to this way. I am going to sew to the middle as well, because I'm starting to chain do this a little bit more than what I was doing. So we have 2 that it goes this way. I want to make sure on the other one. Yep. Get your stiletto. Don't put your finger under there. Okay. And then on these other ones that go to the center part, I'm going to get the other couple here. 2 more. 1, 2. These go on the opposite side. So I'm just chain piecing, and then I'm going to make sure I've got the right sides together. There we go. Okay, right side, wrong side. I do not want the seam ripper today. I always talk about I'm not going to do the seam ripper today. And then I end up using the seam ripper, but today is a no seam ripper day. All right, so we've got these done. And on both the top and the middle, I press away from the flying geese portion. That just, I'm going to do needle down there. So nice and easy. I'm going to set the seam, open it up, and it wants to go that way, so we're going to let it go that way. Go that way, make sure. And now we are ready to start piecing the top and bottom together. These are for the top and bottom. And this, oops, this is for the centerpiece, so we can set this aside. Oh, that point did so well. I love it. All right. See, that point lost it. This point did so well. Fun, fun, fun times. I'm leaving it. Okay. Now we are going to take a sip of coffee and put the top together. Remember when we do this, we always match the side pieces. And here, if you can see, this is where when you do things, those stripes don't always go the same direction. And I think I talked about this early on, like before when we were cutting is when I talked about this, so a couple months ago. And I'm okay with that as long as you're okay with that. And there's actually not a whole lot you can do about it. Then we get this one here, and it's the same thing on the other side. So as long as it's consistent that way, I got one that's really long. I'm gonna have to trim that one. That one's really long too. I trimmed those to the wrong side. I need to go ahead and get those cut to the right amount. That's the first time that's happened. Looks like I'm ½ inch. Yeah, at least ½ inch. All right, I am going to have to go over there and cut those. So this should be 5½. So let me cut these real quick. You can still hear me when I'm out of the scene. I'm trying to see what size these are. These are, yep, that's what I thought. I am ½ inch too large. All right, let's get my rotary cutter, my trusty 6½ by 12½ ruler. It's one of my favorite rulers. Okay, so now we've got them trimmed to the right size. All right, I don't need, yeah, I will need 2 of them. But, okay, so this is the top or bottom. They're both done the same way. So you can do either one, but now it works. But just know that those are going to be, you know, not going the right direction. Again, the way it was done, there's nothing you can do about that. If you want to, you can take it out and redo it if you want them all to go the same way. I think that's the fun of it. Stripes not going the same direction never bothered me. I don't know why. I guess I like a scrappy look, so that appeals to me. If you are one that really, really likes everything perfectly straight and stuff like that, it'll probably bug you. What you can do is just take those pieces out, turn, you can, you know, take this off, turn it, and then sew it back on if you want to do that. That's in the center. I want to sew this one. I'm actually going to do all of these. We're going to chain piece all of them. It's easy to do this because you know that these sides always have to touch, so you can't get confused on which way you do it. And it goes both ways, so easy peasy. They always have to touch. And one more. And I'm not chain piecing more to confuse you. And I'm not doing it because I'm rushing. I'm doing it like someone who's familiar with the pattern and can do it in a more efficient way. So I'm not, if you see, I'm not rushing to sew. I'm taking my time, making sure it's going the right way, but just being more efficient about it. All right, and this one, I'm looking to see how I pressed. I pressed actually towards the 4 block. And I got my, you know what, I am gonna just seam rip this because I hate when it flips like that. I'm just gonna undo that and resew it real quick, just so that's not flipped. Just open that up and put a couple stitches in it. Yep, I'll even do it this way so I can see it. I'm going to do up all the way, take my leader off. And then just fix that because I don't want it to be super bulky. And I don't consider that, I don't consider that a full seam rip type of situation. That's just fixing something real quick. Do I do that all the time? Nah, I do a lot of samples for my shop and I have to hurry with a lot of them. But if I was taking my time and really doing a nice quilt, then yes, I would go back and fix all of those to reduce the bulk, make it lay a lot nicer on the back side. And this one, I guess, you know, maybe somebody out there doesn't really know how to fix that. Maybe they're new to sewing and they find that helpful. And all you do is just remove a couple of stitches, just enough for it to flip over and then stitch back over it. All right, so there is that one ironed, pressed, and ready to go. Let's do another one. That one did fine. So now we're back on easy pressing. I hope this has kind of been fun for the summer. I am planning something. I'm sorry, I know that's loud, but I needed to cough. I am planning something big for next summer. Ooh, I can't really talk about it yet, but I was in kind of a brainstorming session about it today, and I'm real excited about what we're going to do next summer. It is something unique and fun, and again, I'm super excited for it. Sorry about the phone ringing. The shop is going to get started here in a little bit, and Mr. Threaded Lines ran to the store to pick something up, so he's not here to get the phone. And I can't necessarily answer it right now. All right. So we can chain piece these as well. And let's get these matched up. And sewing. I'm going to do needle down. Getting my stiletto because I've got a nice flap right here. Okay, and let's do another one. All these threads in here are bugging me to death. Okay, that looks better. There was so many threads in it. All right, we will do this one. There's no rhyme or reason to what I am doing. I'm just kind of grabbing one, making sure. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's the only other side you can sew to, but getting my stiletto. All right, and then we can sew the other sides on, and well, we got to press it out, but then we're done with the top and bottom. I'm not going to press right now. I'm going to go ahead and put the other pieces on. Did I sew too many? Oh, no. Just turn it over. It works. Okay. Now with this one, I've got a flap going that might flip over, so I'm going to be careful on the bottom. A seam. I call it a flap, but it's a seam. Just want to make sure that didn't flip, which it did not. Careful as you're feeding through. I'd love to know how many of y'all are going to go to the Houston Quilt Festival. I know not everybody's super close, but that is happening in a couple of weeks, and I'd love to know if you're going. We are going to be there. We're in 1150, booth 1150 something. I can't remember. Okay, so that's either the top or the bottom. And we've got one more. Turn it this way, match the colors. All right. Okay. Now we just press this real quick and we are off to the center. And we have already done one part of the center. So really, we are moving and grooving. All right, so these we are pressing away from the flying geese. So pretty easy pressing. There's just two to do. Give it a little good press. All right, ready to sew to the center. And one more. This is an orange one, and I always say orange is the new pink. But it goes actually pretty well with pink, at least the pink that she chose. I'm kind of digging this one. I'm not a real pink girl, but this one's nice. All right, those are ready. I'm setting those to the side, literally. These pieces are ready, so I'll put them way up here. Getting my little sip. Be sure to drink your water, your coffee, your tea, your soda, whatever you're drinking. I prefer you drink water or coffee. My preferences. Water at least. Drink your water. It's really good for you, and we tend to forget to drink that water when we're sewing. I like to keep a cup by my sewing area. These are also kind of difficult to see. Just look for the brighter part. Take the time and look for it. Make sure the bottom pieces, these are really hard to tell. So, and these just go on the top and bottom of these. So right sides together, paying attention. No time with Jack today, just a little bit. That's okay. That was my preference to change that. You could have done without it. I know some people say, no, you have to do it every time. It depends on what you're doing. Depends on how important it is for you. And I, of course, I can't pull this out and I'm like, nope, I did it wrong. I am such a dork. Jack the Ripper again. Were you thinking as I was sewing that, oh, she's going to have to get the seam ripper out? This one has gotten me several times. Probably need to put them on the things that they're going to do, but at least I hadn't ironed it. Pretty easy undoing. I'm such a dork. That is okay. We all have our goals, and when I'm talking like this, when I'm by myself, I hardly ever use the seam ripper. I mean, I do, but it's, you know, when I'm relaxing and sewing and listening to a podcast or a book or listening to music, I don't use the seam ripper nearly as much as when, like, I'm talking with y'all. You know, I'm talking as I'm sewing, or, you know, because my attention is divided. All right. these. All right. Now let's sew to the other end of these like we were supposed to do to begin with. No time wasted at all. Nothing but net, right? Nothing but net. All right. And these, I'm looking at my notes. We press towards the center. All right. Get these out of the way. Press towards the center. And those can set to the side. We're not ready for those yet. I mean, I guess we could. They sew to the flying geese. But we need to sew something else. We're going to do all of these together. So these go to the top and bottom of this, and these go to the top and bottom, or the side top and bottom of these. So we can do all those. And this does not have any direction whatsoever. It doesn't matter. So pick a side, any side, and start sewing. Same thing for this. As long as it's turned sideways and you're doing either side, you got to do both of them. So it doesn't matter which one you start with or which one you end with. It's all got to go on. And grab another one. And I'm not paying attention to direction because they're going to go in sideways. So even if there is an up and down, it's the long ways, and it's not going to matter for this circumstance. Oh, I don't want to lose that. Okay. I am not pressing beforehand. We're just going to go ahead and get the sewing done. And then it's time to piece it together. Man, that went quick. That went quick. All right. And since we're, are you the one person that you always think, what's my next project when you're getting close to another one? Yeah, I'm thinking of my next project, I'll tell you that. And I am quite warm. Woo! There we go. That wanted to do, that did a knot. I'll see how bad that knot is. Oh, I think I'm having a hot flash. Wow. Whew, I gotta cool down for just a second. Oh, using the pattern to fan myself. I got hot. Whew, excited. Okay. Let's see how bad that knot is. Not bad at all. You hardly even see it. I think it just got stuck on itself. Okay, we're gonna press this out. So again, on this one, I'm always pressing away from that faux flying geese. So we're going to do that. Kind of let it naturally go where it wants to go. There we go. That's how I handle it on these flying geese ones. I think on the middle one, we press towards the center. I have to look at my notes. Yes, we press towards the center. Love those notes. Okay, so there's that one. One more. All right, there we go. Starting to see our teachers arriving for the day. So this is Saturday, we are open. Seeing the teacher pulling in. I wanted to, it's a Labor Day weekend, so I kind of wanted to take a couple of days off since my husband has off. Mr. Threaded Lines, as y'all know him, he has off for Labor Day, so I kind of built in some time to take off with him. I'm real excited about that. All right, so our pieces are done. We're ready to put together this center portion. I'm gonna take a little sip of my coffee. Okay, so this is the center, and then these go like this on the center. I'm going to take my time with this because I have sewn this wrong before. So I'm going to kind of leave this laid out, and then we'll put the two ends on. I know I normally do it like in a line, but for today, just in the way my mind is working, we are going to, and these match up so beautifully, really, really nice. There we go. There we are. I think she knows she can come in. Well, if she's still sitting out there when we get done, I'll say, you can come in. All right, there's that one. And so when I always like to lay it out, so I make sure that it's going the right way, that's going the correct way. Love it. So we'll put these together. Make sure everything, what I'm doing is I'm nesting those seams like that and making sure, I call these the flaps. So I'm making sure those flaps are going the right way. Beautifully set it down. Something else that I'm doing this month is I am sewing for Elena Amo. She's a designer for Moda, and I'm helping her out in sewing a couple of things for market that's right before festival. So I have a lot to sew. She wanted a lot, and they're so cute, and I can't even tell you about the fabric line, but I'm excited that I get to, I get to kind of play with that fabric line before it comes out. That's really fun. We've got some students on the way too. I see the teacher walking in now. So she's coming in. And I saw a student pull up too. Backing up. She's backing up to unload her machine. Saturdays we have classes. Most of our classes are on Saturdays. Every now and then we'll have a weekday class, but most of them are on Saturdays. Oh, this is the wrong way. We gotta go the other way. All right, I'm gonna let that sit on there for just a minute because it wants to go the other direction. Ironing snafu or pressing snafu. I grew up ironing. My mother made me iron. So I got used to saying that. Iron the pants, iron the blouse, iron the shirt. All right, press in the front just to kind of make that set. Looks gorgeous. I love when we match up the seams. I love when they look beautiful. All right, You can hear the train. We have a train really close to us. Okay. Now we're putting on the two sides. Pretty easy. You can't mess this up. Either way you go, it's the same. So I'm just matching those seams, seam intersections. Getting my stiletto to hold it down. Make sure underneath doesn't get, you know, sewn the wrong way. And then this one, it always kind of shifts a little bit, especially when you don't pin, which I'll pin when we're putting the top and bottom on. You know I pin every week, but for this, I'm not pinning. Pin if you like. I am not anti-pin, I'll tell you that. I think it really helps. When I do Jaybird quilts, I pin everything. Like, I pin like there's no tomorrow, because you're dealing with all those bias edges. You should join us. We're starting another Jaybird sew along. So if you're interested, I know some of you have already joined. We're doing Sweet Tooth, and it's a really, really beautiful quilt. It is a more difficult quilt than this. This is a skill builder one. That is, I mean, you'll learn some skills, but it's more difficult to cut. It's more difficult to piece. It's still straight, you know, straight piecing. There's no Y seams or anything like that, but you are doing everything on the bias, and so it gets a little trickier. But I loved making it. It was quite fun, actually, and is a really, really cute quilt. Okay, so we just need to press these end pieces, and we are ready to put it all together. I should do one of these live so we can all get together and kind of chat. Though y'all can hear me and y'all can write something, but it's not complete. I mean, I guess Zoom, I could leave it open and you can talk, but that one flipped over there. Since I changed that other one, I'm going to change this one real quick. Only takes a couple of seconds. If you can catch a seam. I can't catch this. I can't seem to catch the seam. There we go. And just open that up. I'm going to stitch that super quickly. I haven't even pressed it yet. Okay, it's done. Looks much better now. It will lay flatter. All right. Trim some of those threads off. Okay. All right. Okay, I guess I had pressed that one, but that's all right. There we go. Ready to go. Ooh, that looks so pretty. That just looks gorgeous. Okay, time to put on the top and bottom. And time to have a sip of coffee. Okay, now this goes on top like this, and that's what starts making that star, right? That beautiful star. Okay. Yes. Making sure everything's right. Okay, here we go. This I pin. And I happen to adore magic pins. Absolutely adore. Where I'm pinning is every intersection and any long path so that it doesn't get off between the intersections. So that is looking a little wonky, so I will stick a pin in it. Okay, and then here, same thing. I think I'm going to pin in between. Oops. And this one I pressed the wrong way, so I am going to press this the correct way so I don't get a bulky seam. I don't know how I missed that one. No harm, no foul. But boy, you find when you press to the wrong direction, because wait a minute, that seam doesn't match up. Okay, that one's laying real nice. I'm not going to do that one. Here we go. I don't know if this is the top or the bottom. It's one of them. But let's sew it on. Keeping my stiletto handy, making sure seams underneath don't flap over. I know we did a couple of them, but I'm going to make sure. I don't want to have to go through that again. So I'm making sure they're going the way they need to go. There's not as much on the bottom this time. And I left that pin in because that was kind of bulking out a little bit. I wish I had my perfect 1/4 inch here. I'm getting all over the place. I'm watching the seams more than I'm watching where I'm putting. If this one doesn't lay too right, I'll rip it out and redo it, but it wasn't too bad. Ooh, see lots of chunks open. Okay. Looks gorge, looks gorge. Okay, so now we're gonna press. And when it's this long, I like to press at the big iron. So I'm not gonna show y'all with it pressed out. Remember, don't put it like this. Put it like this. Flip it over. Colors match colors. Colors match colors. Colors match colors. Okay. I tend to always lay it. If it's much longer than this, I will, this one is pressed wrong as well. What was I doing? What was I doing? Talking. I was talking. Okay. Much longer than this, I'll take it over. I actually take it to my ironing board because my ironing board is longer, and I will pin at my ironing board so it stays kind of nice and straight all the way. And also iron. This is really too long for my small iron. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. So I'll press it at the big ironing board. But y'all can get an idea of what it looks like. Y'all know what it looks like. That one's pretty good. I don't think I need to pin that. The other one, it did get off. It was really, and I pressed this one wrong too. What was I thinking? I pressed all of them wrong except for one. Okay. Now that looks much better. Some people also, because you know I say it moves, some people also put a pin at the very end so it stays nice and neat. You can do that too. Like I said, I am not anti-pin. You pin as much as you need to. I hope that y'all were able to watch some of the videos at the birthday party. We had some really good speakers. I always bring kind of fun people in. The batting one was super interesting. Different types of batting to use, different times and stuff like that. Very, very interesting. Okay, that one went on a little bit more smoothly than the first one. I don't know what was up with the first one. just didn't go as well. All right. We are done. Look at that. Looks so good. That seam's off. That seam's a little off. Perfect, perfect. Much better, much better. Slightly off here and there. 1/8 of an inch I don't bother with. All right. We have finished block 7 with the beautiful oranges and pinks, because orange is the new pink. Sometimes I crack myself up. It's all in the fun, right? All right, guys, 7 is down in the books, and we are getting so close to the end. Stick with it. It is worth it. It is a beautiful quilt, a beautiful spring summer quilt with all these florals and bright colors. And she did this to remind her of her summer vacation in Martha's Vineyard with her kids. So it was really a beautiful story, and she is such a sweet person. Oh my goodness. I've known her for about 3 years now. Super, super sweet. So anyway, show me your blocks. I want to see them. I know they all look the same color, but that doesn't matter. I still want to see how you're faring. All right, everyone, till next week, y'all stay cool or warm. I know some places are cold in the United States, but here in Houston, it is hot. We're getting a little bit of a reprieve with 83, but 100% humidity. Let me tell you, it does not help. So anyway, stay cool, stay in the air conditioning, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.